In this video, we're going to be reviewing the Garmin Approach S60 golf watch and whether or not it's worth picking up. So what we're going to be covering in this video are my first impressions of the watch, how it actually performed, what does it track, some pros and cons, and also where the best places to buy. So if you just are looking for the best and cheapest place to pick it up, I will leave a link down below. At the time of the video, that was the best place we could find it, so you can go ahead and check out the current price if you want to go ahead and do so. But let's start with my first impressions here. So I'm not the biggest fan of watches, but I still decided to try the X60 out for myself, just to share my opinion on whether or not it's worth picking up or not. At first glance, I did really like the way the S60 looked. I found it was definitely nicer than most watches out there. Also, I found it to be more comfortable as well. And then it also had an interchangeable bands, so you could change the color. You could change it to like a leather one or like different colors. Different things depending on what your preference was, so that was kind of cool as well. What does it actually do in tracks? Well, it's a pretty cool device that gives you detailed hole maps and yardage to like the green, so like the front, back, and middle, different hazards like bunkers, creeks, that kind of thing, different layup spots on the course, and also distances to dog legs as well, which is definitely pretty cool. It comes with over 40,000 courses from around the world, so pretty much wherever you are, there's a good chance the courses are going to be on it, and they're always adding new ones, and the updates and all like the additional courses are all free, which is great as well. A cool feature is the auto shot, which actually records the location and also the distance of your shot, so you can go back and do an after round analysis, which is definitely really cool. So is it actually easy to use? And obviously with anything new, you're gonna have to take a bit of time getting used to it, and this was definitely the case with this watch. We've tested out multiple different models, and we still had to play around with it for a while, and get used to it. And after you do that for a while, it doesn't take too long, but after you play around with it for a little bit, it gets a lot easier. And then it's just like anything where it's just like super simple, works great, that kind of thing. I found there was almost too many different features, which can be a bit confusing for some people, but you can simply just ignore most of them, and if you want, and then you don't have to worry about all that stuff. Pretty much 90% of the time I just use it for like the distance to the front, back, and middle, hazards, that kind of thing. I didn't really use a whole lot of the features on there, and I'm sure most people won't. So if you just use the basic features, it's going to be relatively easy to use. So what else can you do on it? But what I liked a lot about this watch was it allowed you to pick any point on the hole and see the yardage to it, because a lot of them don't actually do that. So you can actually press any point on the hole, like the fairway, the green, hazards, that kind of thing, and you can see the distance from your current spot, which is definitely neat. It's going to show you the shape of the green, and then you can drag the pin around to get a more precise distance. Another cool thing was the swing tempo, which measured the upswing to the downswing tempo of your swing. And you can also connect it to your phone to get notifications like text messages, that kind of thing. But I didn't use that feature myself. I prefer to not have my phone on the course, but that's just me. But how did it perform? So just like with any touchscreen device, especially small screens, it sometimes opened the wrong thing when I pressed it, but it wasn't too bad. But it definitely did happen sometimes. The main thing that really matters is that the thing is actually accurate. And I've definitely noticed a lot of these GPS devices are not always as accurate as you'd want it to be. But it was awesome to see that the X60 being super close to my laser rangefinder, and also the course marker, it was within about 3 yards of what my laser and course markers always said, which is definitely really good. Pros, it was one of the better looking and more comfortable watches in my opinion. It gave all the info you'd want out on the course, and then it was just as accurate as my laser rangefinder. Cons, it was a pretty expensive device. It's definitely near the top of the line, and also the top of the list when it comes to GPS watches. It has almost too many features, which can definitely sometimes make it a bit tricky to use. And then the battery didn't last 2 full rounds. It's said to last about 10 hours. I definitely noticed that on GPS mode, it lasted about 30 or so holes, which was okay. But it kind of be nice not having to charge it after every round. But it's not the end of the world. It's not a huge deal, but there's definitely some things to note. The breakdown, performance score, I'll give it a 9. Price score, I'll give it a 6. Ease of use, 9. Giving my personal score an 8.5, which is definitely solid. Frequently asked questions, so how does the Garmin Approach S60 compare to the S6? So the S60 allows you to track your activity, like steps, that kind of thing. You can track your shots and club distances, and you can also change the wristbands on it. So what is the X60 battery life? And we noticed that it lasted about 30 holes on GPS mode, but is it worth it taking into account all that? I would say that if you can afford to pay up for a quality golf watch, this would be a great option for you. It has pretty much all the features you'd want out on the course, and it's just as accurate as my laser. And the cheapest place I could find the product is in the description down below. At the time of the video, that was the best place we could find it, so you can go ahead and check out the current price if you want to go ahead and do so. And I will just mention our monthly giveaway, so if you want to enter in, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and then comment giveaway down below. Simply do both and you'll be automatically entered. Alright, so that's going to be it for the video. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.